pieces. And I'm a big believer that every company, large or small, should have some nice stands, some nice large pedestals, multi-purpose them, and that's what we're gonna do today. We've been playing around with some ideas on what else we can do with these stands that we have sitting in storage. So that's what we're gonna do today. These are Accent Decor. This is Brentmore stand, and it comes in multiple sizes. And this is Harlow, and it comes in multiple sizes. So these are the two we are gonna focus on today. When I do show these in shows in various spaces, I get a lot of small shops telling me that they don't have the business for them, they don't do big events. But my purpose today was to show you that you could do a lot with these with little product. So let's get started. So we're gonna start with Brentmore, and it's a beautiful stand. It has a nice pocket on top to put some Oasis trays. Love this stand. What I think we could do with this is actually make it a place card stand. And that's what I'm going to be doing today. Honey, come over here. Jamie's filming again, guys. Hopefully I'm upright. So what I have here is some Oasis wire mesh. Simply put a hook on the top with the mesh that I could fold over the bar on the stand. And imagine these are place cards, right? So this is a good way to have place cards. Another way, I am not a fan of the round table with place cards all around them, simply because if somebody with a suit brushes against them, all those cards go right down to the ground. So I like to find other ways, and there's multiple ways to do it where it's a little bit more secure. We took, and you're probably not gonna be able to see this, but a half of an Oasis dash on here. The reason we did a half is because they're easy to pop off then for guests. They're not struggle, and it's not gonna interfere with the design. So I'm going to use some items that we have in the store that we would actually use as rental pieces for it. This would be a rental item, the stand itself. And we have some dried pampas grass. So all I did was I bundled it with bind. And I'm going to place it in the back and tie it to the stand leg. And this is just one piece of pampas grass that we have, and we bought it preserved, dried. But you see how that gives you already some height. It gives you a little bit of dimension. And I bind it at the top and the bottom. And you see how we're already starting to frame out the display. I have another dried item from Knud Nielsen. Amazing product. And look at that color, it's phenomenal. We'll be doing a bouquet and all this dried product later in the week. Same thing, bundled it, but now I'm going to put it up on top. And we're going to bind it. And Jamie will photograph all of these later, and we'll get them on so you can have a nice background, because like Donald was saying yesterday, busy backgrounds like mine behind me is not the most beautiful thing in a picture. So we'll get a nice background for this. So we have a little bit of height there. So next I have these mercury glass. And again, if you think about it, so far, this is all rental items. This is not items that needs to be purchased. These are things that you can rent again and again. These are some pretty candles, flameless. So what I'm having happening here in Chicago, many of our venues are going flameless. And we had to find candles that looked real, that had some flicker for our events, because of course you can't have a wedding without candlelight. So in the mercury glass, we've done this in many events, you can see the candle flickering. So we still have some of that pretty natural flicker light, but just in something that's safe for venues. And place these around. And do you see how it's flickering off of the pampas and it's catching some of the gold? If it wasn't light outside, we'd really get a pretty view of it, and maybe we'll do a quick little photo of it later with the lights off so you can see the flickering against the metal. We have some mushrooms, again, binding, keeping the same theme going, more of a natural feel. Placed right in between. And I pre-did this little arrangement, and I would naturally do a little bit more floral in it, but we are trying to conserve product because we have so little. But this is the Oasis single block container. I'll show you from the back. And we use black foam. We use black foam for most of our events now. We do find that we save product and it looks so much better. And I wanted to carry the mushroom up to the top, which is the swag of roses. And you see, that is really our only perishable item on this display. So when do something like this, bring it to bridal shows, have it in your studio, show that you can do more. All right. Want to add a little bit more fresh product to this. So what I did was I took a water tube, just a plastic water tube, put a dash at the bottom, and use the strip and did a strip along the side of it. Taking my bind wire, I'm starting it with a tight circle like this. And this I'm just going to put at the bottom. And then just wrap the bind wire around it. It's a great way to cover the tube. It'll add another natural element to the design. Go all the way around. The fun thing about watching these videos and taking classes and learning from other designers is really because we get ideas from them. We don't necessarily copy them, but we figure out what we can do with them to make it a little bit of our own. And there you have a tube, and then you leave that a little bit long so we can tie it on. So I have 3 of these pre-done. So let's go ahead and put them on. And I do like to keep the binding go up a little bit, because then it kind of mimics the tube and mimics all the bunches we have. And then once these are in, I am not using the cap on these, because if it's placed, designed on the spot, you just put a little bit of water in there and it'll be fine. It's not going to be moved around. I really don't think you need a big cap on there. Then what you could do is pop a few floral into the tubes. If you wanted, maybe you could do that, one of those in there. Again, it's not all about having a ton of product into this display. It's about using a little bit of what you have, showcasing different options for your clients. Get pictures of it, get it on social media. What do you guys think? Pretty, right? Not a lot of product, a lot of rental items that you can reuse, resell, redesign in different ways. And to finish this piece, I'm gonna give homage to my friends and floral family at Bandy Ranch. Yesterday, he made a comment why I wasn't using eucalyptus, because Steve grows amazing euc. And I don't have any Steve, but I'm gonna use permanent botanical euc garland that you can use. I would use fresh on this project, but you could just wrap it around and how much would fresh silver dollar euc just finish this off as a statement? What do you guys think? It's a way to use what you have, get some vases that you normally wouldn't have, get a couple of them. Don't go out and buy 20 at once. Get a couple of them and show your creativity and show your clients what you can do. So that is our first project. Just slide the table over. Now let's talk about, let me regroup a little bit. Did you all see Andy's painting yesterday he did when I nominated him? He did a painting. And I put on there he could send it to me, but he didn't reply to that. So if you're all on his page, you should say send it to Adam since he nominated you. Because I would love a piece of his art in my house. He's so talented. One of my sisters. And so if you're on his page, just tell Andy Hopper to send Adam the painting of the iris. Let's guilt him into doing this for us. All right, guys. This is another one of the stands we use. And yeah, we do the big arrangement up on top. It's pretty typical. But I want to show you what we can do with some of this negative space to make it a little bit more dynamic. Um, so another thing you learn from fellow designers, and you pick up things and you learn how to make them your own. Alejandro, who if you're not following him, I will tag him in the comments. You need to follow him. He's an amazing artist. He was at our stage show and he did wire, bullion on wire, and I wanted to take it and do something with it. I was inspired by him, and I was also inspired by Frankie Peltier. If you all haven't seen the cross he made out of this technique, you need to jump to his page. I will list him out as well. He's an amazing artist. He's a dear friend of mine in St. Louis. And I'm not going to show how to do this because Alejandro will show, but I just want to show a different way that I'm using it. And again, it's about taking ideas from people and making them your own. So I'm going to use it as a brace in between this. I'm going to build a structure within the legs of the stand. We have our candle holders. And so I don't want it to slide back and forth. I am just going to do a simple twist on the top, like so. We're going to need some of our dashes. Gotta love Oasis products. This is like the glue for me. I literally, and Angie can verify, I think we have 7 boxes of these in the closet. Because I'm afraid that one day I'm going to run out and not going to be able to get them. So I'm kind of like the toilet paper hoarders. I'm hoarding Oasis products. So if any of you need any, you can buy it off of me. I'll sell wholesale. I won't make money off of it. Okay. So all I'm going to do is take the wire and wrap it around like so. Excuse me. So I took a dash and I cut it in half. And all I'm going to do is put a little bit where the wire's going and slide the wire on there. That'll prevent these from sliding and moving out of place. This is something you could probably do, at your studio before you deliver. And then it's there. It's slid. Okay. As I mentioned, we're having to utilize a lot of the artificial light. And so the glass globe that's going to go in here, I'm going to take a couple of petals off, place them around the candle, and then slide this into the cup. And do you see how that becomes, it takes the plastic away, and it kind of looks like a glowing rose is stuck in there. Next, I'm going to take my trusty glue, and I have all of my pins, some of my pins separated in a handy thing. And pixie pins I love. I love that they're small. We use them quite a bit in detail work and some of our bouquet holders. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on this, the rose head. That's probably way too much. And stick the pin in. Grab some bouillon. Put it in between the pin and the rose. Give it a couple of twists. I would normally let it dry before I start to hang it. And I have another half tab. As many as I have of these, I still conserve them. And then I would take this, and the bullion is another metallic. I like mixing metallics. And I would just take this half tab and place it on top. Because we all know that that's gonna come off super easy, not a problem whatsoever. So those are two elements that you can do a structure throughout this. And let's actually go over, I finished a whole one and I want to take you over to the table to show you. So this is one, while Jamie's filming that, I gotta get the candle off. So this is one that we have completed. You notice there's a lot going on inside of this. We use permanent botanical orchid florets. We don't have any bales in the studio right now. And really, I'm not opposed to mixing permanents with fresh. I think it's not a bad thing. You can rent them. Not everybody can afford, 50 phalaenopsis in one centerpiece, but you can mix them in, still get the desired look. And again, the picture is going to be for your company, and people are going to see how amazing you are. Jamie, can you take a zoom of this? This is again how I did the tabs. I just put them on. I didn't peel the back off simply because I don't want the tray to stick to it, and we can just pop those off then when it's done, when the event is done. All the candles have been rose petaled. So, again, I say we learn things from friends and fellow designers. It was like an aha moment. Again, Frankie, we talked to design a lot, we talked business a lot. He was saying in all of his big pieces, he actually puts a mirror upside down so guests are not looking at the bottom of a container, they're actually looking at a reflection of what's happening below. And we started doing that, so well, thank you, Frankie, and it shows how much you learn from each other. And here is an example of a centerpiece that would go on here. It's fresh plumosa and spring rye, and it's not done all the way around. It would normally be all the way around, but product sakes, we'll just do the front of it. And these are, if orchids weren't in a budget, we still wanted that look, we would do the permanent orchids with fresh floral. And let's add some other items to it. We want to carry the rose that's hanging into the top arrangement. So again, we probably have more roses for an event. Actually, I know we would. But this gives you an idea of what we're doing. And of course, if you saw my video yesterday, you know I love draping some foliage over things. So again, this is the edited plumosa. By editing, I mean we cut some of the pieces out in between to give it more of a natural, airy look. And I also think in a design such as this, turn it. Where you have permanent botanicals and fresh materials, having some fresh plumosa or any other type of light foliage draping over the design and over the artificial pieces kind of disguises it a little bit. So you can utilize all of that stuff. And with the lights down, you really have to get close up to know if it's real or not. Our orchids we get from Sullivan's. Sullivan's has amazing Phalaenopsis orchids. If you guys are shopping around, I know that they have amazing product. So those are our two designs. Did you get that, hon? So that's my designs for the day. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I'm loving seeing everybody else out there designing and working away. Get on some of their pages, the designers you want to see how they're doing stuff, and have